Stepping out in faith is kind of like that you're taking a leap into some unknown part of your life that you don't know. You just know that if you don't try, you're never gonna know what's gonna be the end result. November, right before Thanksgiving, I was let go from my job. They ended up closing down 1 year later, so it was gonna happen to me no matter what. And gave me an opportunity. It was bad timing for the holidays, but I was able to enjoy it. My plan was to enjoy the holidays. One good thing is there was a lawsuit involved, and all of a sudden I got a small settlement that helped out very much when I was laid off for my accident. It's tough not being out of work your whole life. I'm in sales, and I started as a truck driver, delivery driver for 13 years of E.B. Brown Joliet, and then they offered me a sales position. I was doing that ever since. I worked there 20 years. Then they sold to Dearborn Wholesale out of Chicago. I worked there 15 years, and then without a job, never had to do a resume or anything before, so it was kind of rough. And took the winter off, did some projects around the house, and then I went to Will County Workforce and thought I could try something. I couldn't get a job in my field anywhere, so I had to look for something else. So after going through 2 weeks of class there, they gave me a certification, and I took truck driver's class at Advantage that was paid for by Will County. It didn't cost me a dime. And I spent, I believe it might have been 4 weeks of training. And after that, probably that was in August of 2012, I ended up going to get my license in, I think in November. Got my license, and I wanted to enjoy the holidays again. Signed up for Werner Enterprises as a truck driver, student. Took my wife and my sister dropped me off at Greyhound bus down in Kankakee, and I took a bus down to Indianapolis, Indiana, and I had about 3 or 4 days of orientation, and boom, once my blood test came back, I got my license, or I got my job, everything was okay, I got my tags and everything else. I started off on driving a semi-truck with a teacher that was half my age, and that was about 24 years old he was. But he was paying for his college from upstate New York. We seemed to get along. I was his oldest guy, I think, that he had, but I was the second most fun guy, he told me. But anyway, we went down to Cromwell, Kentucky, and I was hauling Purdue chicken in a refrigerated van, 53 foot long, and driving from there all the way up to Delaware and back, different locations all over. And when you're driving in a truck, you got college payments with kids, you're away from your wife and your family and everything else for so long. It's lonely sometimes, but it's the worst time is at night when you're driving through the night and my trainer's in the back sleeping or reading on his iPod or what have you, and you're just driving out there in the dark, and there's not much traffic, and you're just driving. You're wondering, you get time to think and reflect. And there was a time where I know I got a computer on the long side of me, and there's a glow from it, but it felt like there was a glow behind me. And I always travel with this stone that was with my dad when he passed away, and for good luck, it's a rock with a cross on it. And I'm driving through these mountains, and I'm just wondering, where is my life going? This isn't really what I want to do, but this is what I have to do. I have to do something. I thought it might have been a little easier, and I'm worrying, and all of a sudden I go over the other side of the mountain, and here's a giant lit up 3 white crosses on the hillside. And I guess it was part of Crosses Across America. They're all over the U.S. And I decided right then and there, it's going to work out. This is going to be, God's watching over me. Whatever happens, happens. And I recall I bought a laptop to keep me informed with everybody, and just to see everybody give me support and strength to get through this. And you can do it, Jim, and I'm like, that's the easiest part. It gets you going. It's But to be missing out on Lenten services and you know, when you've never missed church in your entire life, it's kind of tough. And I think it was 1 week later, I got a phone call from an old friend of mine that worked at Dearborn Wholesale with me and said, "Jimmy, what are you doing?" I'm like, "You don't want to know." I said, "I'm trying to move on." And he's like, "Hey, I'm working for H.G. Hackney and never heard of the company before." "Yeah, we're a $3 billion company. We're looking for somebody that lives down by you as a sales rep." I said, "Holy cow." My dreams are answered. So what I did was I told Warner that I'm going to get done with this with no break in between. I did 47 days straight, and usually you're allowed to get 1 week off between there to break it up, and I just said I'm going right through it. I had 2 interviews. I knew I was going to be able to pass, and I had the faith. So once I had my first interview, I knew I was going to get this job, and now I get to do what I've been doing all my life, and good things happen. Doors close, other ones open. You know, everything works out. It's unbelievable, and it's rough. You know, it's tough, but God's there.